Hello my friends, it's Laura. Welcome back. Today's video is going to be a book haul, the first book haul of 2023. So most of these books I did not buy this year. These are books from as far back as October of 2022, which was the last time I did a book haul. So I have been accumulating these for a few months now. In fact, I think I only bought 5 books in January so far. Probably still more than I should have, but I think I'm doing better with my book buying so far this year. So yes, there's a big stack here, so let's just get into it. So first up, I have Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. I picked this up in October. I was planning to read it then. I didn't get a chance to get to it, but I picked this up because I asked one of my managers at work what was the scariest book or the best horror book you read in 2022, and she pointed me to this one. I don't really know what it's about. It has a very vague short synopsis. It says, in an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, a man begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish that you could forget what you never knew. That's all it says. So I have no idea what it's about. She didn't tell me what it was about, except that it was good and atmospheric and scary, and I'm excited to give it a read. I don't know if I'll save this for next October or if I'll get to it sooner than that, but I am excited to give it a read. And it's a short one too. It's only 238 pages. Hopefully this will be a good one. We'll see. A few of these I have shown on my channel already because I put them in various TBRs and didn't get around to reading them, at least some of them. But first we have The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. This is the sequel to The City We Became, which was one of my favorite books the year I read it. This is the second and last book. The series is just a duology, but if you don't know, the first book follows this concept that cities are alive and have human avatars that represent them and their interests. New York City has 6, and they have to team up and come together to stop an evil that comes to threaten the city. And it's such an interesting concept. It was so much fun. I absolutely adored the characters. The first book was basically this love letter to New York City, and I loved it so much. So I'm really excited to read this one and finish out the duology. And then we have The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. I did pick this up when it came out in November, but have since talked about it a ton, so I'm not going to spend time talking about it here, but it's the final book in the Mistborn Second Era series, which I absolutely loved. One of my favorite books of last year. And then also I picked up The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This is the Barnes & Noble edition, and it's absolutely stunning. I love this cover so much. But this is a nice short one by her. I don't know much about this. Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map. Your phone won't work here, and the forest outside town might just kill you. I think there's an evil sentient forest. I really don't know. I haven't looked much into this. I just knew Susan Dennard was coming out with a new book, and I picked it up because it's Susan Dennard, and I love the Witchland series by her, so I had to pick it up. I know that this is the beginning of a series, and this is what it looks like underneath. Stunning. But yeah, I don't know much beyond that, really. Beautiful end papers as well. But I will be hopefully reading it pretty soon. I also picked up the Barnes & Noble exclusive of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. So this is a little story about Sally from The Night Before Christmas, one of my favorite movies ever. And it's written by Shane Earnshaw, who wrote The Wicked Deep. I love Shay Earnshaw's writing. She has such a way with atmosphere, so I think that this is like the perfect story for her, and I'm really excited to read it. I had to pick up the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition because it has this little book in the back of Sally's book of potions, home remedies, and apothecary cures, and I thought that was so incredibly cute. And we kept running out of the exclusive edition, so I'm like, I better buy this now before I can't get it anymore. So I got this. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know when I'll do that, but hopefully soon. And another book by Shay Earnshaw, which I had no idea that this was coming out, but apparently it came out in November or December, I can't remember, but this is A Wilderness of Stars. I I have no idea what this is about. I just know, like I said before, that I absolutely love Shea Earnshaw's writing. So when I saw this, I immediately ordered it. I don't know how this slipped under my radar, but I'm glad that I finally realized that it happened and picked up a copy. The cover is absolutely stunning, like all of her covers are, and that's the naked hardcover underneath, which is so pretty. But this is about Vega, who is the last astronomer, apparently. I don't know what that means, but it says it's a title carried from generation to generation, and she's the only one who understands the knowledge of the stars. Knowledge that can hold the key to a cure. Oh, right, because apparently there's some disease. The people are gravely sick. They lose their eyesight and their hearing just before they lose their lives. And so I think she sets out to find this miracle cure that the previous astronomers have held back from everyone for reasons. So it sounds interesting. Also back in December, we had an author signing at my bookstore, and it was Neal Shusterman. So I got to meet him, which was so nice. I worked the event and also got to chat with Neal after the event, and I got a picture with him, so I'll put a picture up right here. It was so much fun meeting him. He is such a down-to-earth, like really sweet guy. That was definitely a highlight of my year for sure. But I got his new book, Gleanings, which are stories from the Arc of a Scythe trilogy. I think these are stories that take place before, during, and after the events of the trilogy. And I'm really excited to give it a read. And I also, of course, got it signed and personalized by Neal, which was very nice. And it also came with this beautiful wooden bookmark that is absolutely stunning. So yes, got myself a copy of this, got to meet Neal Shusterman. It was an all-around great time, and I'm very excited to give this a read because I really did enjoy that series. So a Christmas gift from my management team at work. They gave everyone a little package with a book and some other goodies, and I got The Harbor by Katrine Enberg. This is a, believe, translated thriller, and I think it's part of a series. I don't necessarily know if you need to read them in order, but I'm pretty sure it's part of this like detective mystery thriller series. Never heard anything about this author. Let me know if you have in the comments. But I will be giving this a read because, as you know, it is one of my goals to read more translated works this year. So this actually fits really nicely into that. I think it's about a child that goes missing and the detective that goes about finding him. So I managed to win a Goodreads giveaway. I always enter Goodreads giveaways all the time. I think this is the third Goodreads giveaway that I've won. This is The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang. So Ruth Emmy Lang is actually the author of Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance. I read that a couple years ago and I really enjoyed it. I loved her writing. I really loved the atmosphere in that book as well. And I loved the way it was told because in that book, we were following a main character, but we never get that character's perspective. We just get perspectives from people whose lives he's touched. And I thought it was set up so interestingly. So I'm really excited to give another one of her books a read. This one is about two sisters whose mother disappeared. This has like a very slight speculative element. So I believe one of the sisters has a gift of foresight, like she's able to see things happening. And the other sister has an uncannily good memory. And so the two of them set about trying to find out what happened to their mother. It sounds really interesting. I don't know if it takes place in the winter time, but for some reason it's giving me winter vibes. So I might pick this up sooner rather than later and see how it goes. But I'm just so happy that I won a finished copy. And then at the end of the year, end of last year, I went to my local used bookstore, Bright Light Books. I've talked about them before. I absolutely love them. But I had some books that I brought in and got store credit and picked up some other things. So I picked up books 2 and 3 in the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers. I had book 1 already that I also picked up from the used bookstore, and then they had these two, which I was really excited to find. So we have Record of a Spaceborne Few and A Closed and Common Orbit. I don't know which is the second and which is the third. I think this is the second one and this is the third one. I know you don't necessarily need to read them in order, but I probably will anyway. I'm very excited to read these for a new series binge vlog at some point in the year because I definitely want to get through this series this year. But this is a cozy sci-fi space opera series from what I've heard about it. Everyone seems to love this series. Everyone who has read it loves it. I've read Becky Chambers before and I absolutely adore her writing, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this series as well, and I'm very happy to have found these at the used bookstore in such great condition. And then I also found Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, which is another one that I've heard really great things about. This is a sci-fi horror novel. It takes place in space and it follows this crew who pick up a strange distress signal. When they investigate, they find out that it was the Aurora, which was a famous luxury space liner that vanished on its maiden tour of the solar system more than 20 years ago. And so of course they go in the ship, and apparently what they discover there is horrendous. Most people I have seen read this have really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited to give it a read myself. But it's supposed to be really creepy and really interesting, and I'm very excited for this one. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, but hopefully soon. Trying not to save all of my spooky books for October like I usually do, so I'm hoping to get to this. Hopefully within the first quarter of the year, we shall see. And then I also found a Katrina Ward book at the used bookstore. This is Sundial. After reading The Last House on Needless Street, which I loved, I knew that I needed to read absolutely everything by this author. So when I saw this, I immediately picked it up. I also love this cover. It's creepy and interesting, and I just love the colors as well. That beautiful blue underneath. So yeah, very excited to give this a read. Hopefully I will be doing that soon. And then the last thing I picked up at the used bookstore was book 5 in the Wheel of Time series, The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan. Of course, this is always one of the first things that I look for when I go to the bookstore, and I didn't have book 5, and now I do. I have continued on in the series. I haven't talked about it yet, but I read the second book, The Great Hunt, at the end of December, and I really enjoyed it. So very excited to continue on with the series. This is the only series that I'm not going to be binging this year, because there's what, 14 books, and that's like, nobody has time for that. So I'm gonna take my time with this series, hopefully try to read one book or so a month. We'll see how it goes. But now I have book 5, and I also have book 3, which I didn't previously own. This was a gift, a Christmas gift from a friend. So now I have book 3. I can go ahead and immediately continue the series. There's only a few that I have left to get. I've almost collected the entire series, which is amazing, just from the used bookstore. So excited. The next stack of books I have are all special editions, mostly from Fairy Loot, one from Barnes & Noble, and one that I managed to find at the used bookstore. So let's start with that one. My used bookstore now has an entire section for special editions like Fairy Loot, Illumicrate, all of that. And I was able to find Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is the Illumicrate edition, and Gallant was 5 stars for me, one of my favorites from V.E. Schwab. It follows Olivia Pryor. She is an orphan who lives at this school for girls until she gets a letter from a supposed relative saying that, hey, you have family here, come home. And when she does, she discovers that things are not at all what they appear to be in the house. This edition is absolutely stunning. Just look at that cover and look at those stenciled edges. And they wrap around the entire book. It is so beautiful. I could not pick this up when I saw it. Here are the end pages. And then the naked hardcover looks like this. It is such a pretty book. I was so excited when I saw this. And it was honestly such a good price. I think this is my 3rd copy of Gallant now, and I'm totally fine with that. Okay, then we have my Fairy Loot books. So the one, I think this was October's book. It's Poster Girl by Veronica Roth. This is another dystopia from Veronica Roth. I don't know much more about it than that. I haven't read the synopsis because I don't want to. I just want to go into this and experience it. I love Veronica Roth's writing, especially after reading The Chosen Ones, which is one of my all-time faves now. So I'm very excited to give this a read eventually. I'm not a huge fan, however, of this cover. I don't think that this was the best, but it's definitely better than the original in my opinion. And then it does have these beautiful stenciled edges, just on this side though, not on the top or bottom. It's of course signed And these are the end pages and the naked hardcover. Very, very beautiful, and I'm very excited to give this one a read. It's a nice short one as well. It's not that long. I haven't heard anything about this book. I haven't seen anyone reading it. I haven't heard anything whatsoever. The book for November, I think, was A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I have already read this because I read the self-published edition and absolutely love it. Gave it 5 stars. But this is the beautiful, stunning Fairy Loot edition. Love the cover. And these beautiful, beautiful edges, as well as these end papers. These end papers are absolutely stunning. If you don't know, this is a retelling of Dracula's Brides. So that is Mr. Dracula himself. And then the end pages on the other side look like that. And the naked hardcover is, once again, stunning. I think that this is one of my absolute favorites that Fairy Loot has ever done. This and Babel and the Atlas Six, absolutely beautiful books. And I really enjoyed A Dowry of Blood, so I'm glad to have a special copy of it. And then the book for December was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is the cover for it, which is really beautiful. I love all the mushrooms. The edges, though, such a beautiful purple lavender color. The end pages, there's one and the other one, and the naked hardcover is truly gorgeous. Absolutely love it. I don't really know what this is about. It's another one that I haven't heard much about. But it says, enter the world of the hidden folk and discover the most whimsical, enchanting, and romantic tale you'll read this year, starring the intrepid Emily Wilde. I think it has a bit of a romance. It's about the Fae. It sounds like it'll be right up my alley. So I'm excited to give this one a read. I just received the book for January, which is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I'm very excited about this because this is Roshani Chokshi's first adult book. And it seems like it's going to be like a gothic romance, if I'm not mistaken. It says, combining the lush, haunting atmosphere of Mexican Gothic with the dreamy enchantment of the invisible life of Addie LaRue, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride is a spellbinding and darkly romantic page-turner about love, lies, and secrets and betrayals, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. Sounds absolutely beautiful. I'm very excited to give this one a read, and this is another absolutely stunning book. Love the cover. There's the back, and like the gold foiling is so beautiful on this one, and the edges absolutely stunning on this, and they go all the way around. Love it. The end papers, really beautiful as well. Those are the front, and then there's the back, and the naked hardcover. Just so beautiful. Look at all that foil. So yes, very excited about this one. I have heard good things so far about it. And then my last special edition is this stunning edition of Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. It's the first book in the Last Hours trilogy, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive special edition. It's simple, but it's also really, really stunning. It has this quote on the back. It has the sword on the front with the leaves. It's so autumnal too. It's just, I love it. I love it so, so much. It has gold gilded edges and just this beautiful dark forest green color on the inside, and a ribbon bookmark. I saw it in the store and I had to buy it. I had to, because it was so gorgeous. I don't know if Barnes & Noble are going to be doing special editions of the second and third books. I really hope they do, because I would love to have a matching set of these. But even if it's just the first one, I'm very excited to have it. Okay, now we have the 5 books that I've bought so far this year. The first one being Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, of course. This is the second book to Ninth House. which follows Alex Stern, who has the ability to see ghosts, and she is recruited by the secret societies of Yale to join the 9th house and oversee the other 8 houses and make sure that their practices are kept clean and safe. I have not picked this up yet. I have reread 9th house, absolutely loved it the second time around, but haven't picked up Hellbent yet, but I will soon for sure. I love this cover. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which is red instead of silver or gray. These are the end pages, which are absolutely stunning. I think they're the same. Yeah, they're the same in both. Oh, it's like a continuous illustration. So that's nice. I am so excited to read this. 2 other of my most anticipated releases for January. The first one being Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I was not planning on picking this up so soon, but the audiobook was available, so I started listening to the audiobook and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I went ahead and decided to buy myself a copy because I loved it so much and I wanted to have it so that I could reread it. This is a YA romance by her. It follows Brad and Celine, who grew up together but now hate each other, so it's like enemies to lovers. It's so sweet. I had a blast with this, so I had to pick up my own copy, and it's so pretty. Look how cute this is. It's just one of the most cute pink covers ever. Lost in the Moment and Found by Sean McGuire. I have read this one as well already. This is the 8th in the Wayward Children series by Sean McGuire, which I literally talk about all the time, so I won't get into it, but I absolutely loved this. I loved this. It was 5 stars. I will talk about it more in my wrap-up, but this is probably up there as one of my favorites in the series so far. This is also one of my favorite covers out of all of them, to be honest. And then, while I was casually browsing Barnes & Noble, as you do, I saw this, which is Bastille versus the Evil Librarians. This is book 6 in the Alcatraz series. Do I have the first 5 books in the series? No. No, I do not. Have I read them? No. No, I have not. But this is by Brandon Sanderson, if I didn't mention that. This is his middle grade series. And I do eventually want to get around to reading it, but I saw book 6 and it was 50% off for the hardcover, so of course I picked it up, right? You can't beat 50% off. So now I just need to find the first 5 in hardcover and eventually get around to reading them, which I will. The reverse of the dust jacket has a map on it, which looks like this. It is really pretty. And then lastly, the final book in this haul is this one. I picked this up for $3 at my kids' Scholastic book fair at school. I'm going to read it and determine its scariness level and then read it with my kids. This is part of your nightmare. This is part of this new Disney Chills collection. It's kind of giving me like Goosebump vibes, like Goosebumps meets Disney vibes, which I'm very excited about. This one obviously has to do with Ursula. So those are all the books that I got. But one last thing is my Brandon Sanderson box. The first box of the year of Sanderson arrived, and it was the Hoyd box, which was very exciting. I already opened it because I couldn't wait. So I'll just show you what was in it. But one of the first things was this t-shirt that says Hoyd for President, which I absolutely adore. And it really is like the softest t-shirt ever. Love it. And then we also got these sticky notes with Hoyd on them. This one says there are still stories to tell, and then this one that says dream big, idiot. It also came with this mouse pad of Hoyd and these pack of stickers, which are very shiny. But this one says contains 100% pure nonsense. And then these set of stickers that says Hoyd was here. And then the pin for this month, which of course is Hoyd. Actually, let me take it out of the package. There is the pin, which is very cute. So yeah, that was the first box, the Hoyd box. My absolute favorite item being this t-shirt, honestly. I'm going to wear this all the time. But yeah, that is it. Those are all of the books and things that I've gotten since October of 2022. Talk to me down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Have you read any of these? What did you think of them? Are there any books that you think I need to get to sooner rather than later? Let me know. You know, I love hearing from you in the comments. But that is going to be it from me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.